In this video, we're going to revisit a topic that I have talked about before, which is the distributive property of multiplication. Okay, and then we're going to go over a new topic called order of operations. Okay, so let's first start with distributive property of multiplication. Okay, now let's say you're in a scenario where you don't have a calculator and you do not have a piece of paper and a pencil, right, or a pen. Okay, so how are you going to do, say, multiplication of, let's see, something like this. How about 63 times what? 63 times 7, okay? Now, you don't have a piece of paper, you don't have a pen, you don't have a calculator. So you could do it this way. You could do 63 in your brain times 7, right? And then if you can hold all these numbers in your brain, right? This is 21, take the 1, put the 2 up above. This times this is what? That's 42 plus 2 is 44, right? If you can hold all those things in your brain, then great, you're good to go. But many times people can't do that, okay? So what's another way of doing that? Well, another way of doing that would be this right here. Say you have 7 here, and then 63 can also be represented as 60 plus 3, okay? All right. So we could do 7 times 60 plus 3, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to distribute the 7 here, and we're going to distribute it again right here, which is going to give us, you can think of it this way. It's going to be 7 times 60, right, first, plus 7 times 3, okay? And what does that equal, all right? Let's look at that. 7 times 60, well, that's 7 times 6. What's 7 times 6? It's 42. If you know your times tables, that's what it is. And then you have the 0, so it's 42, and then you add the 0, okay? So it's 420. Then we have 7 times 3. Again, if you know your times tables, it's going to be 21. So altogether, it's going to equal what? It's going to equal 441. Now that is something that everybody should really learn how to do, because it's going to help you do, math problems in your brain that involve double digits or even triple digits. You could use it for triple digits if you wanted to as well. For example, say you had, let's say that you had 50, so 550 times what? Let's do 550 times 8. Okay? Well, you could change that into 8 times 500 plus 50. Now you could do that in your brain, and it simplifies things. So for example here, what is it? Well, 8 times 5 is 40, right? Then you're going to bring that to the zeros. So that's 4,000, okay? And then 40 again, because remember, we're taking this and we're distributing it. That's what it's called. 8 times 500 first, and then distribute again. 8 times 50 is 8 times 50, and then 8 times 5 is 40. And then we're going to add another 0. So now we can see that this is 4,400. And if you can just do that in your brain, which most people can do this a little bit easier than vertical. All right, or maybe I shouldn't say most people, but some people can do this easier than vertical. If you're one of the people that can do this easier, the vertical way, then go ahead and do it that way. But this is just another way to get to the same destination. All right. Okay, so let's look at the concept of order of operations. Okay. Okay, so let's say we had 3 plus 15 times 2, okay? So how would we do this, okay? And then let's also look at this one right here. 3 plus 15, same thing, times 2. This time we're going to do this, okay? How would we go about doing this? Well, some people might want to do this. Some people might want to go 3, all right, plus 15 equals 18, and then they're going to times it by 2, okay? Which equals what? Well, if we do it the way I just taught you, 2 times 10 plus 8, because we're taking that 18 and doing it that way, that's 20 plus 16, right? Equals 36, all right? If you did it that way, that would be incorrect. First thing you're going to do, actually, is you're going to do the times tables, okay? You're going to do 15 times 2, which is 30. Let's bring that down here. Okay. 15 times 2, all right. And then you're going to do plus 3, which equals 33, okay? That is the way you're going to do it. And then over here, since this is in parentheses, okay, you're actually going to do it this way. This actually would give you 36 because you're going to do this plus that, it's 18 times 2 does equal 36, okay? So in this case, you would get that. You would get the 36 because the 3 and the 15 are in parentheses, okay? So that's just a quick view of order of operations. We're going to go more in depth here in a second here. Okay, so let's take a look at another example. Okay, so let's say that you have that a similar problem. So let's say 10 plus 6 times 3, okay? Well, according to order of operations, you are always going to multiply first. Multiply or divide first. So if you had this again like this instead, all right, you're going to do the multiplication first or the division first. So in this case, it'd be 18 and 10, right, which is going to be 28, right, because you're going to do the multiplication first. And in this case, it'd be 6 divided by 3 is 2 plus 10, and that's going to equal 12, okay? All right, so that is a key rule to remember. Always multiply and divide before you do addition or subtraction, okay? All right. So another key rule to remember is that if both multiplication and division are present, they're in the same problem, right? So for example, we have, let's do the 6 again. 6 divided by 3 times 5, right? Plus 10. What you're going to do first is you're going to go from left to right, okay? So it's going to be, you're going to go from here to the left, and you're going to move that way when it comes to evaluating the problem or solving the problem, okay? Right? And normally, if you're seeing me say this, right? And you're thinking, well, why didn't you do it over here, right? Why did you do right to left first? Why did you go these ones and then the 10? Well, that's because even though you're supposed to do left to right, this multiplication supersedes or overpowers the rule, right? It comes before the rule of left to right, okay? So it is left to right normally. You always want to move left to right if you can, but if there's a multiplication or a division in the problem and it's to the right of the first number or the second number or whatever, you're still going to do that multiplication or division first, okay? But in this case, they're in front, so it'd be 6 divided by 3, which is going to equal 2, then times it by 5, which is going to equal 10, and then we're going to plus it by 10, right? Right, here's the 10, and that's going to equal 20. Okay? You're not going to do 6 divided by 15, because 3 times 5 is 15. No. You're not going to do that. You're not going to go 6 divided by 15 and then plus it by 10, right? That's not going to happen. That's not how order of operation works. You always do left to right when there's a division and a multiplication at the same time. And if, say, we had a subtraction here, say we had a minus 2 afterwards, you're still going to go left to right, all right? You're going to go minus 2 afterwards. Oh, sorry, here it is. Minus 2 afterwards. And so this would be minus 2, and this would be equal to 18, okay? So let's do that again. Maybe that was a little confusing. So again, all right, again, the way you're going to do this is you're going to do 6 divided by 3. That's going to be 2. And then times by 5, and that's going to be 10. And then you're going to plus the 10, and that's going to equal 20, okay?